Your inheritance awaits. Grace, growth, and how we lead. There's a moment in Matthew 25:34 that stops you in your tracks, if you let it. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world." Debbie, it reads like a royal invitation written in eternity's ink. And yet, most of us, especially in business or leadership, walk through life like we have to hustle for heaven's handshake. Let's break that. This verse, this story, this promise, it's not just spiritual encouragement. It's a framework for how you live, lead, love, and build. Whether growing a team, building a business, or navigating your next right step in life, let's explore what this means for people like you and me, people called to influence, create, and lead with purpose. The kingdom was never a transaction. Let's be honest. Many of us have a subconscious formula: effort equals value. It's been trained into us from school grades to job promotions to how many likes your latest content gets. But Matthew 25:34 dismantles that entire equation. Jesus doesn't say, "Come, you who have performed perfectly." He says, "Come, you who my Father blesses." That's relational, not transactional. It's a covenant, not a contract. It's an inheritance. An inheritance is not earned. It's received because you belong to the family. In business terms, it's the difference between grinding for every sale and stepping into a legacy business built on your name. One is driven by anxiety, the other by identity. This means your value is not tied to your productivity. You don't earn your worth. You walk into it. That realization should change the game. Identity before impact. Here's a challenge. How often do you base your leadership confidence on results? Too many leaders forget they are first sons and daughters before becoming CEOs, marketers, creators, or strategists. And when your identity is tethered to outcomes, you'll constantly live in fear of failure, driven by scarcity instead of rooted in purpose. But Matthew 25:34 whispers a more profound truth. Your inheritance was prepared since the world's creation. Before you created anything, you were already chosen. Professionally, you build not to earn approval, but to reflect your Father's heart. You lead not from insecurity, but from identity. And you create not to chase significance, but because you carry it. That's a radically different way to lead. The eternal strategy: compassion as currency. Now, let's get practical and convincing. The parable surrounding Matthew 25 isn't just about identity. It's about action. Jesus celebrates those who fed the hungry, welcomed strangers, clothed the naked, and visited the sick and imprisoned. This is not charity. It's kingdom business. Think about this. When Jesus returns, he doesn't pull out a KPI report. He points to how he treated the overlooked. This is where spiritual and professional leadership intersect. Because the way you treat the least of these in your life, the intern, the gatekeeper, the employee going through a hard season, that's your legacy. That's your culture. That's your metric of eternal success. So ask yourself, are you building a business or a blessing? Are you chasing numbers or nurturing people? Are you leaving behind metrics or memories of mercy? The ones who inherit the kingdom are those who lived as if it were already here. What you build matters, but who you are matters more. There's a lie that says our calling is only about the external. Grow the brand, scale the team, hit the goal. But Matthew 25:34 invites a shift. The kingdom isn't just what we build, it's who we become. And here's where the emotional tension hits. Many of us are burning out because we're building like orphans, not heirs. We act like it's all on us, like we have something to prove. But sons and daughters don't strive. They steward. This changes how we handle pressure, make decisions, and treat our people. It gives us margin to breathe, permission to rest, clarity to say no, and courage to say yes to things that matter more than money. Business is ministry in disguise. If the kingdom is our inheritance, then every spreadsheet, every email, every meeting is sacred ground. How do you resolve conflict? Worship, the way you onboard a new client. Compassion in action, the way you manage time, money, and vision. Stewardship of a royal legacy. Don't buy into the divide between sacred and secular. Jesus didn't. He saw every act of kindness, every moment of compassion, as kingdom currency. So whether you're a barista, a startup founder, or a stay-at-home parent, your work is not small. It's spiritual. And one day the King will say, "Come," not because of your title, but because of how you loved it. Living like an heir today. So, what do we do with all of this? We stop performing. We start receiving. We stop building for approval. We start building from identity. We stop separating our spiritual life from our leadership. We start integrating everything into kingdom impact. And practically, that means leading with grace instead of fear, prioritizing people over productivity, making decisions rooted in legacy, not urgency. Practicing presence is essential because eternal things grow in today's small moments. Your seat is already reserved. Here's the final truth that wrecks and restores me. Your seat at the table is already set. You don't have to claw your way in. You are invited. Not because you nailed the quarter, not because your following grew, not because you finally got it all together, but because you are His. So live like someone who belongs, build like someone who's already accepted, and lead like someone carrying the heartbeat of heaven. Your inheritance isn't someday, it's now. Walk in it. How will you lead differently today, knowing that grace, not grind, defines your worth?